Roxo Media House.
My voice gonna sound like it.
Bro, drink the goddamn Celsius. I don't know why you just take a sip of it.
I feel like I'm.
Bro, you know,
I don't know why you.
No, but you know, like when other people are doing, like I was reading, like I used to. Let me tell you how frustrated I was. I googled sick host.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
I googled sick host, and I was like, what you got to do, bro, is just get drugged up. Like you got.
I'm telling you, I've done
all
it
that stuff,
times.
and then all that shit, and then you get drugged up and you do it. That's what they said.
I told her what to do. I said, man, take some medicine the night before, get you a hot tea this morning, clear up your throat, and then drink the Celsius this morning. It'll give you some energy. But you know,
is that what the Celsius does? Is energy?
Yeah.
I just.
You know what else gives you energy? Vitamins.
That's what I mean.
And vagina.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Welcome to the Three Real Brothers podcast. I want to welcome everybody in today, man. We are excited to be here. We are back for episode 11.
Absolutely. Thank you guys. Man.
Yes, man. I'm excited, man. Y'all keep rocking with us. We're going to keep rolling, man. That's just how we're going to keep doing it, man. You're back again with your host, Kris. I'm not going to introduce us. Y'all know who it's by now.
You're not the host, though, bro. It's the Three Real Brothers. It's not Kris podcast.
But we still got to have a host. And I think I'm the host. So.
All right. Whatever.
I feel like the host. I start the show.
Fair enough.
I start the show. Fair enough.
You know what? I'm the only one who hasn't hosted yet, by the way.
Do you want to host? Go ahead. You know what?
No.
Scooter had his time. No, I'm obviously not the host.
No,
go ahead, Kyle.
I just want to throw that out there. I just want to be petty.
Well, go ahead. Go ahead.
Cool.
Go ahead. I'm not going to say anything else.
I'm going to be like that in a relationship when the girl's mad. Look, I'm not mad. That's all. I'm sure that's all. I'm fine. Just do whatever you want. Go.
Sure.
All right. Well, back to your host. So, anyway, I want to welcome everybody back, man. I'm excited, man. We got episode 11. We actually got a special guest with us here today, man. I'm super excited. Our first guest for the Three Real Brothers podcast. Big up for that. Yeah, that's what they do on Drink Champs. Oh, man, this is awesome. All right, so how was your week, guys?
Week was good. Week was good. You know, it was in Louisiana. Whole situation with that. But man, you know, life life is good. Yes, R.I.P. to our grandfather, Mr. Raymond Monette. Great guy. Is all a part of us. Put a lot into us, but you know, he's on to a better place, and we're actually grateful for that for him. So. Yep, 83 for 84?
83.
80. Was it, you know, it's his 83rd year. I believe. He's 82, and then he would have been 83 in December.
83 years on this earth, man.
It's a long time.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Married 62 years too.
Married 62
years.
62 years.
You would never see somebody married 62 years anymore.
No. It's tough.
I mean, because one, people ain't gonna live that long, and then two, like not being married. Like if you were making 62 years with social media, bro, like y'all are the GOAT of relationships.
Yeah, so you think that's what social media plays a part in that?
Of course it does.
I think so too.
I was reading. So okay, and I'm jumping right into this because I was thinking about this.
Facts.
Okay, so.
You know, the hell with how my
Yeah. Do you want to be the host or not?
You have your chance. Everything's fine. Go ahead.
Do you want to talk, bro? Do you want to talk? No, but seriously. Okay, so I was thinking about this. So back in the day, you didn't have to impress 50 women to be successful. You just needed to impress one woman.
Right.
And vice versa for women. Women only had to be liked by one guy. So now that's why they're so in depth into the surgery and all this other stuff, because I need to be accepted by a wide range of people. Everybody needs to think I'm beautiful instead of just the one guy that I want, like, because that's why I think social media came in. Like change shit.
Yes.
You know what
Kyle,
I mean?
I'm gonna let you answer that before I say anything.
Please.
How thoughtful.
Hey, welcome to the podcast.
Go ahead, Kyle.
No, actually, you know, I may disagree. I think it's just more the core values. I mean, social media does play a part, but I honestly think that back then it was such a taboo to get divorced. Here it's more acceptable. I think it's easier. Aside from that too. Now I think it's a mentality. We're in the day and age of like, if we're not happy, we're gone. You know what I mean? It's like, we're out of here. I don't have to put up with this. You see it along with a lot of athletes. Everybody's leaving. That's just the trend right now. Back then, that's taboo. You don't get divorced. Like, what? You figure it out. You work it through. Different generation, different mindset.
They used to keep it a secret when they got divorced back then.
Exactly.
Right.
It wasn't. I don't know if it's social media per se.
Yeah, I actually, but I kind of, I get what you're saying, Kyle, and Kris, I kind of get what you're saying, because with social media, it gives you more options. And so back then, you know, you dated the person in your town, you dated the person
Prettiest
you went to
girl in
school
town.
with,
Prettiest girl in the city.
and that's what it was, right? But social media allows me to connect with everyone in the world. So to your point, Kyle, it was like, now you don't get divorced, you know what I mean? Because, you know, that's what everybody does. You stay in the neighborhood, live in the same house, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Nowadays, it's like, I got this whole range of options.
You'd be like, damn, look at the waitress at Applebee's. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, she fine. You know what I'm saying? Like, you
right.
Yeah.
But to the point, though, that maybe where the surgery comes in, because it's like, now you're competing with so many different options, man.
And that's what I'm saying. Like,
and it's same, I mean, for guys too, you know what I mean? It used to be, you know, you just had a job at the local plant, you know what I mean? There it was. But now it's like, nah.
You got to be a baller. You got to have this. Because you're not only trying to impress the person you're with, you're trying to impress online. And online, they see all these other people. So you put yourself in this fake competition.
Right,
You know what I mean? And like, I think people are trying to live up to standards that I don't think you can match.
Yeah. So,
you know what I mean?
So you're right. 62 years, man. I don't think
that's a long time. That's not going to be married. Yeah.
It's a long time.
So, Kyle, how was your week?
You know, since you asked. No, my week was good. Got a little busy. Was in Oklahoma for a shoot, and then had to come back just got back in from Austin last night, and then I got to get back to Austin Friday. So pretty good. Got a little under the weather though, man. You know, when they do those shoots, sometimes it's like, you know, when they have by the pool and shit like that. It's not as hot.
55 degrees
it's 40 degrees out there.
Hey, can I get out this water?
Yeah, right. Please, I'm over here shipping. They're like, hey, could you stop shaking, Kyle? It's 32 degrees, but
turn the heat up.
Right.
So, but nah, outside of that, man, it's been busy. It's been good. You know what I mean? It just kind of picked up a little under the weather, so I got the shades on and. Excuse me, my voice sounds like
no, you shouldn't even told nobody. Just tell them you got the linens on because you got the linens on.
I got the linens on because I got them on.
Because you got the linens on.
I just feel like my voice sounds like one of those sex hotlines. Like,
hey, women like that.
Right.
When I get my voice hoarse, that's the first thing I do is start calling you.
Call me.
Hey, how you doing today? So I did have a question, man. Okay,
what's up?
Because it's been kind of cool. Because I guess today is a female, and so it's
you can't say female. You gotta say women.
Whoa,
women
canceled. He's no longer the host. So we have a beautiful woman.
Beautiful. Can you say beautiful?
Yeah.
Yes.
That could be.
That's when it's sexual harassment.
That's sexual harassment.
You can't say how a woman looks.
Yeah, don't talk about.
It's rude.
Looks.
You can't say beautiful. I'm really out the loop.
You can't say.
This is a new one.
You just gotta say woman.
You can't compliment on their clothes, anything.
Yeah, it could be.
Swear, that's what HR said.
It could be. Could be.
That's what HR said. They said, "Would you say that to a guy?" I was like, yeah. His shirt's nice.
Yeah. He's a handsome man. He's a handsome man. When do we take that out? Oh my goodness.
You can't say, you can't call a woman beautiful.
Adjectives or nothing.
You just gotta call them a woman. Hey, look at this woman.
Woman or lady.
Oh, lady. There you go.
You know what? Everybody just needs to wear a name tag now. Just how you want to be called.
Look at Keish.
There she is. You know what I mean? Okay.
Right.
All right. So I wanted to ask y'all this. I kind of wish that we had a sister sometimes. Because, it's cool to always get a male perspective. And obviously during sports, it's better.
Right.
But, like, as far as just having a woman's touch, like, bro, I don't think I learned anything about women until I grew up. Like, it took me a long time to learn about women. Like, periods and all this other stuff.
I'll be honest with you, I still don't know about women.
That's what I'm saying, because we didn't have any kind of...
I don't think women really know about women, but go ahead. Go ahead, though.
We can dive deeper into that one.
We'll wait till she gets on here. We'll wait a woman in first.
Just saying.
But seriously, though, like, I didn't know anything about women, like, until I grew up. Like, I didn't understand, like, how to talk to people. Like, I'm pushing my girl and stuff. Like, toughen up, you know what I mean? Like,
why you crying?
Like, can you not shoot? Like, you don't know how to shoot? Like,
right.
I like had to learn how to adjust myself to be around, like, to live with a woman for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, like, do y'all like regret not having a sister?
It's a catch-22 for me. It's both sides, because I'm kind of grateful for the situation we grew up in. Now, shout out to our mom. Mom was great, but mom was a tomboy.
So yeah,
she played basketball and football with us. And I remember. I
get mad at us for crying.
I still remember this. Yeah, get mad at us for crying. I still remember this. It wasn't until the 8th grade that I could finally beat my mom in basketball. I was in the 8th grade, 6 feet tall. I could finally beat my mom in basketball. right? So
he was a late developer.
Our mom. all right, that part. No, I'm gonna give credit to mom because mom was that good. Like we'd literally be out there playing with the other boys.
That's why he didn't make the team.
He did get cut.
I got cut in 7th grade, not 8th grade because I grew 6 inches. But I digress. Okay, back to the story.
He got worked.
You know what? Then
she went in there and cooked gumbo.
Mama gave that business.
Anyway, back to the story at hand. No, but she was a tomboy. She grew up with 4 brothers. You know what I mean? And so we just didn't have that type of, we didn't have that type of relationship. You know what I mean? And it was like, so it wasn't, and like you said, till I got older, I couldn't figure out that if I went out and got something to eat and I came home and she was like, "Oh, you didn't bring me nothing to eat?" I was like, "Well, you were here. You wasn't hungry.
Yeah,
what you mean? What you mean? You need me to eat?"
Because men are supposed to take care of themselves.
Yes. It didn't register to me that it was like, "Oh, hey, by the way, hey, you want me to get you something? I'm getting something to eat." You know what I mean? So it took me a while, like you said, to learn that. But at the same time, I don't regret it because
made you tougher.
Made me tougher.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I'm not an emotional person. You know what I mean?
What about you?
You think being around women makes you more emotional?
I don't think
it make you more aware.
It could be more aware.
Makes you more in touch with your emotions.
Maybe so. Because I am quick to ignore my emotions. I'm quick to just be like,
because you got to be a man. You know what I mean? I'm dealing with brothers. If I don't, you see how quick we make fun of each other. Like you can't walk around being soft.
You can't be offended by everything. You know what I mean? And
me, I can't say that I regret it because I don't know how you regret something you never had. You know what I mean?
Okay,
that's a good point.
I don't know. I mean, I enjoyed the dynamics that we had. Now, certain things like in relationship stuff that have been nice to have that, but outside of that, I don't regret.
That's what I think more it's about. Is like it's about the relationship part, like like having that inside knowledge.
Yeah,
like having somebody like a girl that has brothers, like the brothers are telling them games. You can't fool a girl who has brothers. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't put one by her because she's like, nah, my brother's telling me. And, like,
I've seen that. I've seen
that movie. So that's what I'm saying. Like we didn't get that inside scoop,
women,
like,
no.
Hey, man, no, trust me, women don't like when you do this, and
right.
We had to learn. We just learned not to say female.
I had to learn how apparently, like, if a girl's like, "Hey, don't talk to me," and then I would actually like not talk to them. They would be offended by that. They'd be like, "What? You really not gonna talk to me?"
I was like, "You said like I'm gonna leave you alone."
Yeah, I used to drive girls crazy with that. They'd be like, "Yeah, no, you don't. No, I mean, just." You're supposed to come chase after. I was like, you walked away. What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do?
Right. I was like,
not on the run.
Yeah. I think I was with your point.
There were some things I missed.
Long time, like didn't understand. That's what I'm saying. That's the little nuances of being a woman that we didn't get. You know what I mean? Like we didn't get the inside information of, hey, when it's this time, do this or this type. I've literally had to fail
many times.
Plenty of times. Yeah.
And like, okay, man, I'll work on that. Love you.
But you know the good thing about today is though we actually get to get some insight.
Speaking of,
we get to get
you know what? Let's not even wait any longer. I'm excited, man. This is the 3 Real Brothers podcast first guest, and I don't know if we could have had a better guest. And so I'm excited that she even agreed to do this because most famous people they don't. They don't have time, you know. But I'm excited.
She did arrive in an Uber Black.
She did Uber Black. Actually, Uber Black XL. Uber Black XL.
We had a whole crash table for and everything.
Everything.
She's taking care of.
So for any of the next guests, just know we go all out.
I'll be picking you up. You will be in an Uber Black XL.
All right, but I'm gonna bring her in, man. So you would have seen her on Netflix's Fall from Grace or season 1 and 2 of Funny AF. I had the pleasure of working with her for a weekend, and let me tell you, as far as beauty and comedy, it's an unbelievable mix. All right, so I want everybody to give it up for the very talented, the very beautiful Miss Keisha E.
Thank you.
Welcome to
the studio.
3 Real Brothers podcast.
3 Real Brothers podcast. Happy that you're here.
Yes.
Okay, so let's get right into it because they need to know as much as we know about you. So I have the pleasure of doing a podcast with two of my real brothers. Mm-hmm. And so we like to keep a lot of things family oriented. That, that's how we move the show. And so what I want to do is ask you about you and a little bit about your family. So let's start with you. Acting, actress, comedian. When did this all start and where did it start?
So officially, it's been like 10, 12 years now, maybe. Mm-hmm. Well, I moved to LA 12 years ago.
Okay.
Straight into acting, or
did you partying it up? Oh, okay. Straight to the club. No. But yeah, I moved to LA like maybe 12 years ago, and then it took a minute to like really get serious and get focused. But that was like the beginning of acting. Comedy just happened. It was just like a dare. One of my friends dared me to do this amateur night. If you dare me to do something where I won't get pregnant or die, it's like, why? Like, what's the worst that can happen, right?
Right.
So I was like, all right, whatever. And that was maybe like 5 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's been 5 years.
Oh, so you got into it.
Yeah, you jumped right into it. And did it just like take off for you as soon as you jumped into comedy, or?
Yes and no. I mean, not necessarily take off, but it was like I kept booking shows. Like I would do a show. The show I did, that first show, there was another comedian that was there that was like, "Yo, how long you been doing comedy?" I'm like, 10 minutes. No, for real. I'm like, 10 minutes. And then there's, "Oh, you should come do the show next week." And at the time, acting was really slow. So I was like, all right, whatever. I was doing it to do it. And then I would do another show, book a show, kind of in that way. So it wasn't necessarily like it just took off in a sense of like...
Steady progression.
Yeah, it was steady progression.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's awesome. So I've seen you perform and funny. So you don't have to worry about that, y'all. As beautiful, as funny. So... Okay, so I want to know about Fall from Grace and the season 1 and 2 of AF. Did you have to like audition for this, or they just seen you at a comedy club and they just knew how great you were and put you on the show?
Fall from Grace, actually, I was doing comedy at the Tom Joyner Cruise. On the Tom Joyner Cruise, and Tyler Perry was there.
Yeah,
and that was his movie, and so him and some of his casting people were there from that. That's how I got that. And then seasons 1 and 2 of Funny AF. How did I get? Oh, my homeboy. Shout out to Donald George. He was doing the show, and I want to say he got it maybe from one of his homegirls who was a part of the one of the producers, and he referred me. He's like, "Hey, my homegirl." He was like, "Can you send me your stuff?" And I was like sleep, like knocked out. And he was like, "Hey, send me something right now." And I'm like, "Wait, what?" All right. So then that's how I got it. And then once I did season 1, they asked me to come back for season 2.
That's
what's up. Congratulations.
On so, because we are like trying to move out to LA. That's our goal. Like,
really? I'm trying to move
that's
out
what
here.
I was going to ask you.
Y'all want to swap apartments?
He wants to move back. We want to move out for the first time. What do you think about that? Like, we're just suggesting especially to an upcoming actor or actress.
I mean, I definitely think it's a great move for your career, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, it's more opportunities out there than most other places because that's like the home of, Hollywood. So if you want to act or even do stand-up, I think it's great because you always have the opportunity to be seen. Like, you never know who is in a comedy club or just the connections that you make. As far as like training, I think it's the best place there, or New York for acting, of course. So I think it's a great move for career.
But personal.
For career.
Right.
But personal.
I'm going to tell you this. When I first moved out there, right? So I was working here in Texas, whatever. I had one class that I would go to on Tuesdays and that was it, right? But then when I went out there, I started meeting people. And it seems like I wasn't working hard enough because they were like working 10 times as hard as I was. You know what I'm saying? But I thought I was a hard worker.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I got out there, I realized that they're not taking one class, they're taking 5 classes. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, well, I only work from like 10 in the morning to 3 in the afternoon. And after that, I go play basketball and I'm done. And they're like, nah, I'm shooting auditions at 6 before I go to work. You know what I mean? And they're going late. Was that type of recognition for you when you got out there? Was that type of thing?
Realization hit you?
Yeah.
Not quite, only because I wasn't acting prior to moving to LA.
Got you.
So
go ahead, say it.
But maybe my parents might not listen to this because it just gets under their skin each and every time. I have a master's degree in computer engineering, so I didn't come out there from an acting background. I didn't have anything to reference. So when I got out there, it was like, that was my first introduction in a sense to, like, I had did a couple plays back home. That's when I was a kid. I was like oh, E for egg in a play. And I was like, I want to act. My parents were like,
She good.
you better act like you want to do that homework. So it was more of like, I didn't have anything to compare it to. It was just kind of like, oh, this is what it is.
Got
so
you.
I know what I need to do.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
But that's the thing about, that's what I'm saying, career-wise, it's like, any place else, you're kind of like a big fish in a small pond.
Right.
But then you go out there and you're a little fish in the ocean. Right. So then, you like you say, you think you working hard and you're like, oh, actually, you know.
Yes.
It's kind of like kids over here and kids in Asia. It's like,
Yeah.
That was a good reference right there. I don't know if y'all caught that. She said it's like kids here and then kids in Asia. You know how kids in Asia work.
Yeah.
Like really education-wise, it's like they in school 24/7. You know what I mean? Like,
So, and out here, they're actually trying to reduce the days. We
got to drag our kids.
And then the kids that are in school is like daycare center for.
But I want to know a little bit more about you. Where you from?
I'm from Detroit.
Yeah.
Detroit. Oh, the D. Okay. So you drive a Ford.
The real D. I don't. And they be mad about it. I've actually never had a Ford.
No?
Really?
I thought that was like a requirement. That's why you made you leave. Get your ass to LA.
Well, usually, typically, as long as you stay within the big three, you good. So Chrysler, GM.
Oh, yeah. Fair. So siblings, brother, sister?
Yes, I have 2 brothers and 1 sister.
Oh, where do you stack up in?
I'm third. So, yeah.
Third youngest.
I can't do the math. Is that middle?
That's the bottom middle.
Lower middle. She's lower middle.
Lower middle. So that are you? So you kind of were like is your sister? You said she's the youngest, or
she's the oldest.
She's the oldest.
Yep, she's the oldest. Then I have a brother,
and then she's sandwiched in between 2 brothers,
and then me. Yep, and then my little brother.
So what's that like? Kind of just with your brothers and sisters, kind of growing up. Were you babied or what?
Do you have a podcast?
I would say so. We don't have a podcast. I mean, my cousins would say so, but I would think.
She said, "Oh, my cousins." So, because you were the baby girl,
so I wasn't really babied in the sense of like I was more so spoiled than I was baby, because I was always very independent. Like I wanted to do stuff, on my own. I wanted to learn how to do things. So I wasn't necessarily babied in that way, but I was spoiled in the sense of like, I kind of got my way.
Got your
way. Like, my dad can't say no.
I'm the baby girl.
You can't say no.
Because the baby boy is not really the baby, it's the baby girl.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, to my mama, the baby boy is.
Oh yeah, fair.
Kyle, what do you have to say?
The baby boy is the baby boy. Like, the baby is the baby. I'll say that.
Yeah.
And because it's such a big age difference between us, like he's still the baby for sure.
Tread lightly.
What's y'all range?
He's 8 years younger than me. Like they thought the factory. So was
what's
closed.
the range between the oldest and the youngest?
Let's see, maybe 12 or 13 years.
Same parents.
No, so my older sister is my dad's daughter. He had her before him and my mom got together. Okay. So growing up in the house, I technically was the middle because it was just me and my 2 brothers in the house.
Gotcha. So you just like me. We're the odd man out. But
that's why you're over there.
Maybe because I'm a middle child section. Maybe because I'm a girl. I never like the whole middle child syndrome. I never,
because you were with 2 boys, and so you were basically the only girl.
Yeah, so maybe because of that or the age difference.
Change it. So
Jim. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No,
I was gonna say, did your brothers put you on game when it came to like dating and stuff?
That's what I was gonna ask.
Yeah, my older brother.
What did he tell you? What are some things?
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah, let me hear it.
The younger brother was too young.
Right. But now he think he my daddy. Yeah. So my older brother put me on game, but as I got older, I had to take it with a grain of salt. I had to pick and choose because my older brother was the one that was like, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, like ever. Yeah. Like I'm like 30 years old, like I'm not giving head. What? Like to my boyfriend. You know what I mean? He's like, girl.
You had a boyfriend.
Because my brother, my older brother, it was just like, and then I had older cousins that were more like realistic. Yeah. They were more of like, hey, my older brother was on some like, dudes lie. They're gonna lie. They're gonna do this. They're gonna do that. Don't let them do this. Like it was this. And so I was like, okay. And it was, then I had to, as I got older, kind of like, take a little bit with a grain of salt. I see what he's coming from, but also like I still got a date, my nigga. Like I still right. Come on now. But
trust me.
You don't want to do none of that. None of that.
It was like I was grown and people be like, no, you can't talk to Keisha. Bruh, you can't tell everybody they can't talk to somebody.
Right. So your brother was protective of his sister.
Yeah, very, very much.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Like that's an older brother. That's an older brother mentality. Because I know if you see, like, you would have thought he was our little sister the way he be protecting him. You know what I'm saying? So,
but that's with the baby, because even with my little brother is 6'5", and I'm like, that's still, I have to protect him.
So he gets still my baby.
I have to like,
because it's hard because you see them in your same shoes in a sense. You know what I mean? Regardless, you're the youngest. You're like, okay, I remember I was just there 5-10 years ago. So do this. You know what I mean? You won't be in my situation.
And to see them like grow up your whole life. Like, I'm 8. I'm changing your diapers. You know what I mean? I'm making your bottles. Like, I'm helping out. So it's like, you're still the baby.
Right.
Did y'all have a lot of like fights? Would you bump heads a lot? Anything along those lines?
No, not me and my little brother. Me and my older brother, we was like 2 peas in a pod growing up, right? And I was always a tomboy, so kind of what y'all was saying is like, they weren't gentle with me. What? No, we was playing basketball. We was playing football. We was outside. But we were always like 2 peas in a pod. And then once we were like teenagers, I was maybe like, because it's 2.5 years between me and my older brother. Not quite 2.5. When we got to the age of like talking on the phone, then it was an issue. Right? Because somebody calling me and you won't even click over. You ain't gonna take their call. You know what I mean? I'm on the phone, you sitting here waiting. Like, it would be that thing. And then I was like, I need my own phone. Right? So then once I got my own phone, it was like, all right, cool, we back to being cool. But that was probably like the only time we really kind of bumped heads. And then I would hate on him a lot around the teenage years. Because like, coming up under him, I would see the things that he could do, and I'm like, oh, when I get to be that age, then I can do that. Like, he can ride his bike in the street at this age. When I get to the end, my dad's like, no,
you can't do that.
I'm like, what you mean? Kyron could. He's like, you don't see a difference between you and Kyron? I'm like, no. My dad used to be like, you don't see a difference. I'm concerned. And I'm like, no, I don't. I'm 8 now. When he was 8, he could do this. So I would always kind of like try and throw him under the bus. Not intentionally, more so I'm just trying to make my point of like, I should
well, he stayed out all night. So, oh, okay. Well, he got the girl in his room right now.
Right. Like, what is
snitch.
I mean, you know.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's interesting because I think from my standpoint, just me being the oldest, I couldn't do stuff. My mom like limited me, and then as we got to Kyle was like first grade, just traveling the world. And
You know
what
my
I'm saying?
little brother, it was
so
like,
I was like, what the world? Like, I couldn't do that. You know what I mean? I can't lead a street. You know what I mean? So that's interesting.
I did want to jump into this.
Okay, what's up?
Since I do have an entertainer here, and we're all in the entertainment business in some fashion or way. Johnathan Majors. Just got in trouble. For I believe the correct report was it was a strangulation and assault on a white girl.
He's done.
That's a very important stat. So,
he's done.
He's done. And so my question is this: How do, as black man and a black woman, I want your opinion on this. How do we avoid situations like that? And then, is that like a setup? Like, what do y'all think about that?
Stop dating white women.
You're good. Say what you gotta say.
Mic drop.
Yep.
What you got?
You know what? You have to be aware. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of. I mean, I hate it when I hate to bring this up, but the whole situation with Denzel told Will Smith is like, wait your highest. That's when the devil comes for you. So you got to realize at the entertainment world. You got to realize that when you're here, you got to start being very careful and almost walking on eggshells, if you will. You know what I'm saying? And I think that was something that mom used to teach me, especially being an athlete. You know what I mean? It's like coming up. When she was in high school, it's like, all right, listen, this is about to start happening. You know what I mean? Run. Don't watch who you hang around. Watch what you say. Watch what you do, because everything matters. They're always looking for a reason. You know what I'm saying?
Is it that hard not to choke a girl?
I've always.
I mean, they sometimes I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yes. No, I wasn't agreeing with that.
He was like,
hold on now. Now hold on now, because she could have said some stuff. No, I'm bullshit. No, it ain't.
I don't know what she said.
Because that tone be getting strong. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, you better take the bass out your voice. I'm just playing.
No, so I was looking like. Is it that hard?
Well, here's the thing. Okay, so this is my whole ordeal about it. Well, first of all, it was allegations on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
so we can't jump to conclusions. So this is my whole thing about these situations. People have a lot more to lose. What happened to innocent until proven guilty? So for something like this, Johnathan Majors has a big name to him. He's hot right now. his name should not be revealed until it's proven that he's guilty and that has happened, because he denied the allegations. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing, no matter what, whether he did it or not, his name's ruined. Mm-hmm. Just off top, his name's ruined. It happens a lot of times, a lot of celebrities, athletes as well. Anything like that. I just think that's an unfair thing, because you can't treat them as a normal person. You know what I mean? His name should not be revealed until we get all the facts.
But maybe that's how he gets in trouble, is he doesn't think he's a normal person and he can get away with whatever.
And exactly. But see, this is the thing. But we don't know. This is all speculation. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So what I'm saying is, regardless whether he did it, whether he's guilty or innocent, he still is going to face the backlash of being guilty. Regardless, and that's unfair to him. Now, I never condone putting your hands on a woman. I mean, that's just not how I was. The only time I can put my hand on a woman is if I'm defending myself in terms of like life. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that. Yeah, unless
women like to be choked.
Oh my goodness! All right. Before we do that,
I want to ask Keisha though, from a woman's point of view, like. Especially since you're out in Hollywood and you run into these people all the time. Like, I mean, is it that easy for them not to choke somebody, or is it that easy for them to get in trouble for allegations? You know, these like women are out there. Like, are they lying on these men like this? Like, what's going on?
I mean, that's tough. I mean, obviously, I think yes, sometimes, but also no, sometimes. So, because like you said, it's an allegation. Is to answer your question, what can you do to avoid the situation? If it is true, then you keep your hands off of women. You know what I mean? Like, whatever you need to do, whether you need to take anger management classes. And I think part of it is we don't, unfortunately, hold celebrities and athletes to the same standard that they should be held to, as because they are just a normal person at the end of the day. That's just their job, puts them in the spotlight. But sometimes we do put them above the law, or they feel like they can get away with certain things, or oftentimes women allow them to get away with certain things. And they choose to do, not putting the, blame one way or the other. But a lot of times, with celebrities or athletes, it's like you allow them to cheat, or you allow them to disrespect you, and you still want to be, a part of their team, or whatever the case may be. Right. So I think them just having accountability for themselves, I think, the people around them, how they were raised, like all of those things play a part. Because I can't excuse that if that's the case. But like you said, we don't know. So I'm not saying he is guilty or he's not guilty. Stop fucking with white women. I will say that. It's never gone great for you guys, But I think that it is unfortunate because, like you say, whether he's innocent or guilty, it's gonna kind of stay with you.
Period.
I feel like it depends on the person sometimes. If you like super loved, or if people are like, I can see that he kind of seems like he would, he kind of gives that vibe or whatever. But I think it's hard to not let it come out, because you can't. How do you keep something like that under wraps until the whole trial takes place, and then that's kind of hard.
Well, just his sake for his brand and image, like, you know what I mean? Like for something like, and I see how that.
But he was arrested though.
I know.
He was, and cops don't arrest you.
Right, exactly.
They had to have some kind of.
But hold on, video footage.
That's what I'm saying. They had to have some kind of evidence.
So they had footage and see, like, I don't know. So if they had footage and image,
that's all I'm saying.
And then on top of that too, I mean, if she's white. And don't matter. I mean, you're gonna see. You're gonna get arrested anyway.
Yeah, and white women bruise really easy.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, I work with white women. They run into dresses and counters and stuff all the time, and then they turn pink and blue and yellow. I don't know. I'm not the only person who's seen these blue marks on these white women.
Chris like, yeah, I came one chest in the other day. She was bruised up. I mean, what the,
I barely hit her.
I
barely hit her.
She over there rolling on the floor talking about she can't breathe.
I grew up with brothers though.
Wow,
that's funny.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's unfortunate that we do kind of,
it's a tough situation.
Because I think it's hard. I remember I was talking to somebody and they said that they were accused of sexual assault. And just a conversation with the person. It wasn't like kicking it with them, dating with them. But instantly, I'm not gonna hold you, in my mind, even being accused would make me question what I talked to this man. Exactly. And that's messed up, because if he didn't do it and somebody just put that on him, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it's It is, yeah.
That's why. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. No. Oh no, I was gonna actually ask another question, but
no. So I was just gonna follow. Do you think that plays into cancel culture and stuff like that? This whole thing that we have with cancel culture is like the moment something is labeled to you, then all of a sudden now endorsements, movies are delayed, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, before anything comes out.
I think that's important. They pulled his campaign. Yeah, I think that. I think that should.
And it was like that's what I'm saying. And to me, that it's a scary thing that somebody can have that much power over your
career.
You know what I'm saying?
And mind you, he's worked his whole life to get to where he is.
That's scary for somebody just to be able to come out and I can say this regardless if it's true or not. And all of a sudden, bam,
take it all
this
away.
Is going. All of a sudden, you don't get this, you don't get that. You know what I mean? I mean, you could be set up anyway. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's unfortunate. I think that's crazy. To me, that's crazy. Case. I don't know how you could regulate that or how you could, force a company to not pull somebody's endorsement because if it comes out that this man did not actually do that, I think that is. And I also think it depends, again, like when it comes to like sexual assault or like domestic violence, assault on a woman or like sexual assault. I think that a lot of people don't want your hands with that versus like you could be like, oh, I used to sell drugs, and they'd be like, oh, well, maybe he just grew up. I'm not gonna hold you. I talked to a former reformed drug dealer, right? I wouldn't hold that over his head in a sense, but if you was like, oh, I raped somebody, I'd be like,
right. See, that's another part that's crazy. We have selective cancel cultureism. You know what I mean? It's
selective
like,
anger.
It's all. And I mean, there's certain movie producers who are in jail now. I'm not gonna mention names, but certain movie producers who are in jail for doing the same stuff that maybe other artists have done. Mm-hmm. We don't listen to their music, but the movies those movie producers made are on TV and considered classics, and they still run today
and still making money.
That to me is there's something off about that. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't like it. Even with the whole Bill Cosby thing, and I love the Cosby Show. I'm like, that ain't got nothing to do with Heath Cliff. Okay?
His
stand-ups are funny still.
He's still funny.
His stand-ups are still legendary.
Yeah,
but I still listen to R. Kelly.
I do too.
I wouldn't.
I don't do that. I think the Cosby Show is different because that was an ensemble cast. It's more than just Bill Cosby. It's bigger than him.
But you would sit there and watch Pulp Fiction.
I'm just saying. That's my point. That's a great movie.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's the same thing.
Hey, Good Will Hunting is still a classic. You know what I'm saying?
I think it kind of depends too on because R. Kelly that's his music. And maybe I don't know the music industry, so maybe somebody else made the track or whatever, but you see one man. The Cosby Show, it was Claire Huck, you know what I mean? It was Felicia Rashad, it was Keisha Knight Pulliam, it was Malcolm, it was all of these people, so it felt bigger than, and it's not, like to me his stand-up is different than watching the show. Like even though I know that it was his idea or he created or whatever the case may be, but to me it feels different than like watching his stand-up or going to buy a ticket to see him perform stand-up. Is like I'm supporting him specifically versus this show, which is fictional and also has other actors.
But see, this is the problem I have, Keisha. It's like there are so many people in history who've done the same or worse that we're knowledgeable about, that you can actually Google and look at everything. Yeah. And some of the stuff we just wipe off and say, okay, well, don't worry about that. But then this person, we're not going to support.
And that's why I think it depends on who it is.
And
I think it depends on the pool they have.
Wrong with that.
In all fairness, R. Kelly didn't make his beats. So
he didn't engineer all the music.
So I think it depends on the type of crowd. Like that, you messing with young girls.
I agree. I think it Robert depends Kelly on the type. Is an asshole. He's a dick, and he should be in jail.
Right.
And they should just have a studio in jail with him. That's all I'm saying. Like he should be in jail. I don't support any. Like if Johnathan Majors is guilty, bro, he should go to jail. I don't support you putting your hand on. Remember when I told y'all a long time ago in college? How did I avoid any kind of sexual assault? Because I played college football at TCU, right? Mm-hmm. And so the number one thing I didn't ever want to do was get in trouble for sexual assault. So if a girl ever said no, even jokingly, no, stop it. If you say no, I'm leaving. I'm walking out the door. And then we could just figure it out another day. Yeah. And so that's just why I get so frustrated about that, because like people that are like that, and like, I'm sorry, you should. I'm not giving you a second chance. But I don't believe in that.
But still, does it take away the fact of, like you said, Bill Cosby's work? Does it take away the fact of R. Kelly's music?
This is what happens when you have, especially for black entertainers, they're held at a different light, because for black entertainers, I feel like, are people who make it, I feel like I said, I mentioned this before, is that we hold them to such a higher standard. They're not just a talented actor. They are our leaders. They are our voices. They are our speakers.
Which is stupid.
I mean? Exactly. Too. So not everybody. So for whatever reason, for black entertainers, we can't separate their work. The artist versus the person. They are conjoined together. So now when that happens, you're like, oh, that's why we're so heartbroken. Like, what, Johnathan? How could Johnathan Majors do it? He was in this movie. We fell in love with him, and he was the voice. He was a speaker. He was our role models. We have a tendency of making them a lot of role models, not realizing that they're normal people too. They're gonna appreciate
the work.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so, and that's what I'm saying. I can separate the two. Somebody can do something god awful, but I'm like, man, but the body of work.
You still listen to Michael Jackson?
I think it also depends on what it means to you, because like I can't support a man putting his hands on a woman. I can't purchase your music or buy a ticket to your concert or go to but maybe you stole something from a store, and I don't believe in stealing, but I wouldn't be like, I'm not buying his music, you know what I mean? It's a different
can I ask you this then? You mentioned on that too. What about like someone like Chris Brown? Like he had this whole incident, but I mean everybody still kind of ride and vibe with him. And so
Kobe Bryant's still the greatest, right?
Yeah,
so I
he had that instance. So I'm curious, and I guess I'm to layer up. It's almost kind of like a 2-layer question. When is it ever from? I want to hear from your viewpoint. When is it ever okay for a man to put his hands on a woman?
I don't think it's ever okay to put your hands on a woman. I think
there's never any. Even
in
if
a
she's
restraining way, if she's attacking you, I think you can restrain her and then leave.
What if she's bigger?
Right? I don't
think you bigger than him.
I'm saying like what if my life is
even though you're bigger than him? I think that typically men are, unless you're dealing with a bodybuilder, typically even if I'm taller than you or the same, you're typically stronger than me. I think you can still restrain me. I can restrain a girl without, if I don't really want to go there with her, right? Without actually having to put your hands on me physically, right? Fair. So I don't think it's ever okay. I also don't think it's okay for a woman to put her hands on a man. Right. Going to the Chris Brown situation, I don't think it's okay in no means. I also, from what I got from the situation, is Rihanna started the fight. Yeah. Right. And I don't think that that's okay. And so I think that it's hard because I can't condone putting your hands on a woman. And it's also like, dang it. In some ways, it seems like he tried to
not hit her.
Become a different man, right? But everybody keeps continuously holding that over his head. So it's like, how do I ever move forward? And she gets to move forward. Nobody ever was like, oh, we ain't buying Rihanna music. She put her hands on dudes. Or she, started the situation. Right. I don't know. Maybe because he's younger. He was younger when it happened. Maybe because, I do think that I think initially people wasn't riding with him. And again, it goes back to my point of depending on who you are, depending on how good your music is. Your music is great versus if you a one-hit wonder.
Yeah, it's like
I think initially people wasn't rocking with him. And then I think over time people kind of slowly started to. But again, it's like, do you allow a person a second chance? Do you?
Yeah. So let me ask this thing. So the people that we say we don't want anybody putting their hands on women and stuff. What about these guys that kill black people and then go rap about it? But then we turn around and listen to their music.
Nobody cancels. I can't.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. I mean, literally, we're speaking in general. Not necessarily us, because I listen to like Oliver Tree, and y'all probably don't know who that is, but exactly. So don't worry about it. He knows. He knows. Look at
you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm out here. Yeah, Calvin Harris. You know what I mean? Like that's my kind of music. I like music. I be in there dancing in the car,
but still shuffling, huh?
Yeah, exactly. I can't shuffle, but I can think about it. But what I'm saying is, in general, though, like that is almost praised. Yeah, like hey, I'm a killing nigga. Like all this other shit. But then everybody turn around. You listen to all this music riding down the street, but then you talk about, well, I listen to this. It's like, no, I don't want to do that because he put his hands on. But this motherfucker killed somebody. Right. You know what I'm saying? And he's promoting killing somebody.
Right. And telling you how he did it in the song.
And bragging about
it. I don't condone it by no means. I think a couple of things with rap music. I think one, half these dudes are not actually doing the things they rap about. Obviously. So that's one thing. It's like,
you can't get there.
You didn't actually do it. The second thing is, I think people, particularly black men, have become so kind of numb or used to that type of violence against one another. So going back to like what means something to you. Like I might still support somebody that used to sell dope, but not somebody that raped a woman. Right. Some people might not think anything of it because you see it all the time. It's become almost this, I hate to say, norm. Right. Where they don't think anything bad of it. And I think rap music, there are certain rappers that, like, I love Nas. And I feel like Nas rap, he has a lot of substance in his music, right? And I think a lot of this new music, and even some of the old, but particularly for sure, like what they rap about now is just, because some people actually live by that. It's not just entertainment. You're not just rapping the words. It's a cool beat. They're actually influenced by it. I think it is absolutely tearing this community, the Black community. One of the many things, tearing the community apart. And I think that it shouldn't be celebrated.
Right.
And it's unfortunate that has become, like I said, kind of the norm.
And I guess another thing to be, why is that only our particular music, hip hop culture, is so degrading?
I think we talked about that.
We did talk a little about it. We're not gonna get. But I just noticed, I'm like, out of all other genres across the world,
I want to hear Morgan Wallen talking about he about to go shoot up.
Let me, you know what I mean?
Even our movies. Like I was watching Snowfall and I had to check myself because I was like, I like the show, but I have to take breaks from it. And I realized like if you got to take breaks from it because it's too much. It's crackheads. It's just too much, right? And it's like, why these are our shows and these are our greatest shows? Why? Why we don't have a Black Billions or a Black Successions?
I've been saying that
Black
forever.
Suits, you know
it's like there's a lot of other things we can do, but I have a theory because people were talking about the streaks in the air. You know what I'm talking about with planes.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? They're using that to control society. I'm like, no, they're not. They're using social media and entertainment to control society. That's how we're going to control society. So if you do this, you do that, we're going to promote you, we're going to pay you, and we're going to put you on this pedestal. But if you go this route, we're going to demean you or whatever. If you pay attention
to the songs they play on the radio.
Exactly.
That's all it is.
Exactly. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, that's, to me, I think that's why. It's a way, that's the way of control.
So you're like that New World Order kind of thing.
You know how they do.
But it's also what we support. If you look at the numbers on like...
We know who's doing this. So before we go, I do want to ask a relationship question. Okay. You don't mind me asking, are you in a relationship at all?
Oh, no. Mm-mm.
Okay, cool. So, when you were in a relationship, we had an argument about this. Well, not argument, but a conversation about it. Like going 50-50 in a relationship and like the roles that we play nowadays and how I don't believe that the roles have been, well, I'll give you my insert on it. I don't believe that the roles have been advanced on both sides. I believe women are progressive and men aren't allowed to be progressive. What is your feeling about the 50-50 on a relationship?
Are we talking like
bills? Yeah, you pay half the bills. You pay half the bills, or I pay the rent, you pay the bills, or however we work it out. Just whatever our agreement is, but it's not you just being pretty.
I think it depends on your relationship. I think that I grew up around and seeing in my family is like the man is the provider. I was taught, I remember I went on my first date. My dad gave me a $50 bill. I went to Red Lobster in 1998. Was it 98? I think it was 98. He's like, if you ever have to spend this, right? My dad was like, if you ever have to spend this will be your last date with him. So the next day I went to the mall, bought me some Guess jeans. But I was like, but that was always my thought. But then as I got older, I realized like it's okay for me to do something nice for a dude. Now I'm not paying for a first date or even a second date, right? Sure. But
I'm talking about y'all going strong.
Yeah, so I think that's how I was raised, but I also think it depends on the situation because maybe you're in a relationship with a man who can't afford to pay all the bills. Yeah. And I think that's okay. I don't think you should let social media be like, no, he got to be paying half or I'm going to leave him type thing. I do think that I'm a fan of gender roles personally. I didn't ask nobody's grandma to fight on my behalf. I am a fan of a woman being, the caretaker, the homemaker, like cooking, cleaning. I'm not saying that's your only purpose or you just supposed to be barefoot and pregnant. But I am a fan of the man taking out the garbage and taking care of the things with the car and, like pumping that kind of thing. I think that's naturally how we're created to play those roles. Sure. So to go back to that, I think that I want to be with a man who is willing to care for me. But if that's not the case, then that's fine. Now, what I cannot do is this petty, like straight down the middle. Like the bills is this, the rent is this, so you owe $2,372 like that. Because to me, that's not. If we're in this together and it's a partnership, it can't be this petty. It can't be this like I paid this on this, so you have like it can't be this keep score type thing. So I think it just depends on your situation. I think I want to be with a man who is willing to care for me, but I'm also not like I just sit around and just got my hand out. That's never been my thing. Right. But I want to feel as a woman, that's part of feeling safe and protected is more than just like a physical protection. Sure. It's like I want to know. Like my parents was always like, your husband should provide for you, but you should be able to, whatever he brings to the table should be extra and added to what you already, like you're not sitting around waiting for or expecting in that kind of a way. I don't think it's just a yes or no. I think it just depends on the situation. But I do think I still see men as providers. I still see women as nurturers.
Yeah, for sure.
I still see women as the protector, and I still see women as the helpmate and the backbone in a sense. I don't think it's a cookie cutter answer to it.
I agree because I believe we're on a team. If we're in a relationship, we're on a team.
Yeah.
So whatever is needed on that team at the time that's the role that we need to play.
Yeah.
And so I've always been big on that. Like so maybe you can't cook tonight, then it's my job to cook tonight. You know what I'm saying? Like, or baby, I struggle with my job. Just let me go. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I mean by that. I think people are scared to be on a team and they're at this. No, well, I'm the woman. I should do this, this, and this, and I'm the man. I should do this, this, and this. And I think we've progressed past that nowadays with women that have jobs and are progressing as far as business goes, and men are progressing as far as business goes, and actually becoming more involved in the house duties of taking care of the kids. And I think just finding a way to play your role on your team is more important than what my job is as far as what the outside world thinks I should be doing.
Right.
Yeah,
I wanted to ask this. I wanted to because you made a statement a few episodes back.
Cancel.
And you were saying you mentioned something because you were saying that, she's into gender roles and so she was cool with that. And you made a statement. You said men shouldn't listen to women.
No.
What was the statement that she? So I wanted to know.
Men shouldn't listen to women because.
Ever?
No, not ever. Not ever. I think men should, because it kind of plays into the gender role thing, right?
Because now we have a woman here, so I want to hear.
So I even go back on it. So men shouldn't listen to women. Not never. not you shouldn't.
But 95%
like this.
of the time we shouldn't listen.
But 98% of the time. You should be the decision maker to me in the house, like as far as a man goes. Because I mean that you were talking about gender roles. Because what I said was that women think, and this is scientific. And I'm backing all the way up. This is scientific. Women think with emotion. Men think with logic. If you are making an emotional decision, you're not thinking about the future. You're not thinking about the ramifications of it. You're literally thinking how you feel at the time. And so I don't think the person making my life decision should tell me a decision how they feel at that moment without thinking about the whole sphere of everything that goes on with things. What do you think about that?
Yeah.
I think I somewhat in some parts, in some ways, slightly agree. Because I do think that the man is the head. I do think that the man leads. I do think that part of your masculine energy is decision making. Part of that is but I also think there are some women who are logical thinkers. So I think it depends. Yeah. So it's not a straight across the board. Right. And I think it depends on what it is, because maybe it's something that she just has a little bit more experience or knowledge in, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of going back to what you said about it's a partnership, right? So it's a conversation amongst the two of you. And then I think, I want to be with a man that I can trust that at the end of the day, we have this conversation and I can trust that you can make that final decision on it. But I don't think it should necessarily be a thing of like, men don't listen to women because...
No, 2%.
Because...
We'll hear you out.
Because sometimes what we're saying kind of makes a little more sense. You got to figure out I think as a woman, you got to figure out how to package it so that it doesn't come across as stepping on your toes or, not listening in a sense or letting you lead in a sense. But I think it depends on the situation, because sometimes you may not be making the best decision.
Facts.
So
okay,
yeah.
Well, because that's what a lot of women say is like, I don't have any problem submitting. I just need to see you as a leader. Like,
you got it. You're not gonna lead me down a back alley. You know what I mean? Like, I want to know that I can trust you to lead. I have to be with somebody I can trust to lead, but you also have to be able to lead me in
for sure
in the right direction. And I think no.
Yeah.
Because I started thinking about something. I was like, they didn't even ask that. That's not even like,
Yeah, please go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Just to your point. No, I was just thinking because I do, right? I want to be the leader, and I, as a woman, to be able to submit, which doesn't mean sit down, shut up, listen to everything you say. Because men also husbands are supposed to submit to their wives as well. But I just thought about something to that point of like decision making. Because I'm a woman, so I am emotional. But the engineer side of me is very logical, very rational, very analytical, very like, and I always want to be an asset. I don't ever want to be a liability in a sense. Sometimes I realize in my past relationship, I had a hard time of like, if there's a problem, I want to help figure out how to solve it. But then that can come across as I'm not letting you lead. Whereas in my mind, it's just like, I want to help, or I see a solution because I'm very analytical, I can see a solution for it, but then it's like, I gotta sit back and let him do it. But I'm telling you, please just do this, right? That can kind of be hard sometimes, but yeah. So I think y'all should.
Yeah, listen a little bit more than 2%.
But I don't think it should just be like I ain't hearing nothing you say, because she might say something that you might still make the final decision, or you might take a bit of what she said, but it might still be helpful. So I think it should still be it should never just be. It's not a dictatorship. Like it should still be a conversation, and then I trust you that you can make that final decision. Cool,
Okay. Right. I actually have one last one. Can I go ahead? Because you mentioned something too. So you mentioned, and I just want to piggyback. You said it earlier. And I want to know what was the huge turnoff for you. You mentioned that black men shouldn't date white women. What is your thing about that? Why? Yeah. Why is it? You said it in passing. You said it in passing.
So I've always wondered
I was like, wait a minute. We have a black woman here. Let me hear. What is the issue? Because I know, and on the flip side of that too, you'll have someone like Serena Williams who's dating a billionaire white man, and we congratulate them.
Good job, Serena.
Get you
That's different. That's different.
Okay, there's a difference.
So now I'm just curious, what is such the huge turnoff when you see a black man dating a white? Just in those regards, we see it a lot too. But what irritates kind of more the core? I want to get to that.
So, a couple of things. Let me clear it up. I don't have a problem in general with black men dating white women. Right? It's not,
interracial relationships are cool.
Interracial relationships are cool. If you meet a white man, I think oftentimes it's y'all downfall. I'm gonna be honest, but hey, that's your decision. I think that if you meet a white girl or Asian or Latino or whatever other than black, and she dope and you fall for her, do your thing.
Right.
When I see black men, because I'm coming from LA, when you see black men that are specifically seeking anything but a black woman, you haven't even met this woman yet, but you want anything but a black woman, I really don't even, at this point, I don't have a problem anymore. I just pray for you, because that's a level of internal hate that I will never be able to understand.
Your mama black, boy.
Your mama black. But I do think it's wild. It's a few things, because I hear people say like, oh, it's, there's so many people and da-da-da. And it's like, I ain't never heard a white person tell their kids, I think you should date a black person. Like, I've never heard or even going to school, I want to send my kids to school with white kids. And it's like, okay, if it's a great school, but I've never heard white people like, you need to be around black people because the world is more than just white. So I think that it's just a love that I have for being a black woman, being a black person. I have amazing black men in my life. And so I have an infinite love for black men. Me personally, I value and want a black relationship because I also want to create and have kids with a black man and have black children, right? I don't have an issue with anybody dating outside of their race whatsoever. Right. I do think I'll say this as a black woman, because we outnumber y'all. And I don't know the exact number anymore, but the percentage of, we'll just say the U.S. population that black men make up, right? When you subtract the number that are incarcerated, the largest number of incarcerated is black men, right? Then you subtract the ones that are gay or on the down low. Yep. Then you subtract the ones that are already married in a relationship. You subtract the ones that are gang banging, you're not doing nothing with your life. It's like, what do we have? We have 200 dudes to choose from, right? And it's a million of us and 200 black men to choose from. And so then if you are specifically seeking anything other than, or not even if you're not, sometimes, and this is just being honest, when I first moved to LA, it was culture shock, because I'm from Detroit. It's one of the blackest cities in the US. So, well, everything's gentrified now, but so I didn't see that. So when I got to LA, I rarely, even now, and I think I'm numb to it, I would rarely see a black man with a black woman. And I'm like, what? So as a single black woman, it's a little disheartening, or it's a little discouraging, or it feels a little like
frustrating.
Damn, it's like I don't get checked for like that in LA. So it's like, damn, I value and I want to be with a black man. And when I see around me a lot, not everybody, but a lot are dating others. It's like, where's the, you know what I mean? You start to feel like, where's the hope? Like,
right,
you know.
Right. So let me ask you this. Let me play devil's advocate. So if I was, let's say I was Caucasian, right? And I tell my Caucasian daughter, I only want you dating white men. Is that a racist thing? What is that?
That's normal.
Or is that
I don't think that it's... I don't necessarily think that it's racist, right? Because my dad wants me to date a black man. If I come home with a white man, he's not gonna not like him, but he's gonna be like, "Whew, okay,
what's going on, baby? What we doing?"
That's what he wants from me, right? So I don't think that it necessarily makes it racist because I think it's natural to want your child or yourself. I think it's natural for people of the same race to be together. I think that's a natural thing. I think it's natural for me to be attracted to a black man.
You ever been to China?
Yeah.
There ain't no mixed race leagues. You ever seen the Chinese national team? Where do you see black people in the Chinese national team?
Tight circuit,
bro.
They keep that.
We're the only race that says, no, it's okay. No, you just love is blonde. Like literally, no. Have you ever? I have a lot of friends that are a lot of different. So it's not like me just making this stuff up. Bro, I've talked to my Mexican friends. I've talked to Asian people. I've talked to all these. There's only one type of people that encourages you to date outside of your race.
And I think it's a level of self-hate. I think it's a level of like, because and I do a lot of commercial work, and I noticed, and my dad pointed it out, and I noticed it too. But he was like, he loves seeing me do things, but he's also like, they can't ever get you a black husband. And it's like...
that's how it goes.
Or even with my straight hair. I don't book commercials with my straight hair. They want you to look ethnically ambiguous or African.
We say that all the time. Go ahead, Kyle.
I have another thing to piggyback on that too. And this is because now, I think there was a study. I had this conversation with some people. There was a study that showed that black women are the least desired women. Dating gaps across the board in the dating game. And another thing I noticed that black women are portrayed and is that especially in the media now and everything, black women are also portrayed as masculine. They're not shown that feminine. You see a lot of them where they're bald, shaven hair. They show more of a masculine kind of. You have something like Woman King, Black Panther. They're not really showed
not here
more.
For Woman King.
Yeah,
I was not here for it.
You didn't like it? See.
It wasn't even so much that I didn't like it. I was just like, I'm not here for this. Like, I feel like I'm tired of seeing like this strong black woman, like we're protecting the man and we're fighting, and it's like, nah, I'm not. That's not, and to be a part of that, you can't get married, you can't have kids. Like that's part of our purpose. That's part of the magic of being a woman, right? So like the one girl was like, all right, peace out. I'm like, I would have been her, because I feel like, unfortunately, even though it should just be entertainment, it gets into our minds. And so when you pay attention to TV, you always see the single black woman. She got the child, but she don't have no husband. Or you pay attention to TV, you see the successful black man, he's with a other woman. He's either leaving the black woman, he's already with an other. You see black families when they're struggling and they're in poverty, when they're in the projects. That's when you see a black man and a black woman together. And so it gets into your head, which is why a lot of people get to LA and now all of a sudden I don't date black women.
Because it's almost a sign of making.
And with black women, I'm not, to go back to that point, me personally, I don't necessarily clap or celebrate it. Because like I said, love it. If you love somebody, cool. Right. But with the Serena Williams situation, or, black women dating outside their race, oftentimes it's because they feel they don't have a choice. I have a couple homegirls in LA that's like, well, what am I gonna do? So now I'm with a white man. Personally, and now clock is ticking. I'm 40 because I'm like, well, I'll just be single if I can't give it a black man, right? But a lot of them are like, it's not a preference. It's not that I value a white man over a black man. It's that, well, if I still want to be a wife and be a mother, then I might have to open myself up to other races. So that's oftentimes what happens. Black women are less likely to date outside of their race than anybody else. So like that's oftentimes what happens.
Interesting.
It's not that we're putting this person above you or that's our preference or we want to. It's really like we settle in most cases. So not all. There are some black women that just want to date outside race.
That's what I wanted to get to. Yeah, that's deep.
Well, we've taken obviously way too much of your time. Like I say, famous people got places to go. Like we're done. We going home, go sleep.
I ain't gonna know what
but famous people got places to go. But I want to thank. So, is there anything that you wanted to promote? Do you have anything coming up?
I'm not sure when
social media
podcast is dropping. I'll just say follow me on my social media because I post everything on Instagram. It's Keysha.E, ITSKEYSHA.E. So any shows I have coming up, I have a series that I wrote and shot that prayerfully will be edited and out soon. Keys to the City. Thank you. So all of that I post on social media. You can find it there.
Awesome. All right. So what we do before we leave every episode is we do a segment called Piece of Advice. So what we do is give them one piece of advice to anybody. It can be from entertainers to regular people, just something that you want to say to help you get you through your day, whatever you tell yourself. So I ain't gonna make you go first. We'll let you we'll let you hear it, and then we'll come back around to you. Is that okay?
Yep, that's fine.
Sweet. All right, piece of advice segment. Obviously everybody's favorite segment.
Yeah.
Kyle, what you got?
For me, advice for today is not to give yourself an out, to stick to your commitments. If you say you're going to do it, there'll be a million reasons why you can't do it and why you shouldn't do it. Don't give yourself an out to not follow through what you say you were going to do.
Got you.
Scoop?
Story time, boys and girls. Okay. So what good is it to be on the right track if you're not moving at the right pace? Because if you're on the right track, so what? The train runs you over. So if you're on the right track, that's a start. But you got to be moving and constantly staying ahead of that train so you don't get ran over. So get on the right track and then find work to keep moving forward on the right track.
That's good.
Yeah, give some knuckles on that.
Take that myself.
Yeah, you like that? Yeah.
Oh, no, it's me.
Chris,
Okay.
you go. Oh, you want me to go?
Yeah.
Okay. No, I didn't know. I thought I was a host. I go last. It's fine.
Follow up, Keisha, your turn.
Yeah, go ahead.
I can go. It's fine. Mine would be just to cherish every moment. I feel like I realize I spend so much time worried about the next thing, or how do I get to this point, and then I look back and it's like, oh, I'm at this point that I was so worried about that I could have just spent that time enjoying and being in the moment and being present, and just to not worry. Like, it's all gonna work out how it's supposed to work out. So that would be my advice.
it.
And mine is don't underestimate your strength. You're a lot stronger than you think you are. There's a lot of situations that's going to arise, and you're going to see the way out of it, and you're going to be like, oh, how am I ever get through this, or what I'm going to do to get through this, and you don't realize how strong you are. All you have to do is put your head down, keep going, whatever situations comes, keep going. Man, just like we about to do. We about to keep going. We about to go get something to eat.
Yeah.
I want to thank everybody for tuning in to the Three Real Brothers podcast. I want to thank our hosts. Wait, I'm the host.
I was like,
I'm the host.
to say, wait
I'm the host.
Where are
I'll
you?
introduce you as Kris and everything. So I want to thank our host, me, and I want to thank our guest, Miss Keisha E, for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Hopefully you have a safe trip in all your shows that you're about to come. I know you're going to kill it. Make sure y'all follow her on all of her social media. Make sure you follow us on all our social media. Three Real Brothers Podcast on Instagram, on TikTok, or Three Real Brothers Pod C. On YouTube, we're actually coming up on YouTube, man. We're doing really well, so I want to congratulate you guys for that. Make sure you keep tuning in. Like I said, y'all keep rocking, and we're gonna keep rolling, man.
Yeah. And I give a special shout out to Joe, our producer.
Joe, come on. For all the people listening, he put his hand in front of the camera. All right, we want to thank y'all again, man. We'll be back next week for episode 12, man.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. Thank you.